Very stationary.
Good morning. The judge would like to speak to all the attorneys for the plaintiffs, and all the attorneys for the defendants for a quick pre-trial conference. So if y'all come up, plaintiffs and defendants attorneys.
You have no right to defend.
My name is Van Arian, and I represent plaintiff A.W.O.L.
Good morning, sir. I'm ready.
May it please this very honorable court, last night the court received a letter from Mr. Jablonski, attorney for the defendant. The last paragraph I'd like to read into the record states, we await your taking the requested action, and as we do so, we will, of course, suspend further participation in these proceedings, including the hearing scheduled for January 26th. As the court can see, neither the defendant nor the defendant's attorneys are here. The Secretary of State responded with a letter to Mr. Jablonski last night stating that if they don't show up, it will be at their own peril, I believe was the quote. Your Honor, the plaintiff calls the plaintiff, Mr. A.W.O.L.
Please, counsel, you have 30 minutes to conclude your case. Sir, can you stand up and raise your right hand?
You swear the testimony you have is the truth from all truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. The witnesses.
Please state your name for the record.
David Weldon
Where do you live?
in Powder Springs, Georgia, in Cobb County.
Are you registered to vote in the state of Georgia?
Yes, I am.
Showing the witness what has been marked for identification, plaintiff's 1. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the birth certificate that I downloaded from the White House .gov website. It's a birth certificate, professed to be Barack Hussein Obama II.
And do you see an item on line, item 11? Can you read that?
Yes, sir. The item 11 says the birthplace is Kenya, East Africa.
And that's referring to,
That is the birthplace of the father.
move to have exhibit plaintiff marked for identification plaintiff's exhibit 1 into the record. That's all I have for this witness.
Thank you, sir. You may start.
Calling Kenneth Allen. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I do have another item for this. Referring the witness to what has been marked for identification as exhibit 3. What is that? Are you familiar with this?
Yes, I am.
What is it?
This is pages 214 and 215 of a book authored by Barack Obama entitled Dreams from My Father.
Can you read the highlighted portions?
Yes, the portions that I highlighted. The portions that I highlighted, our first one is on page 214, where I just highlighted a couple lines to indicate the time frame within the book. And this was in 1966 or 67, according to Mr. Obama. The section on page 215, I highlighted with the purpose of illustrating some history of his father. And his father had been having trouble with obtaining employment up to this point. And I'm going to quote here, it says, when he went to foreign companies to look for a post, the companies were warned not to hire him. He began looking abroad and was hired to work for the African Development Bank in Addis Ababa, but before he could join them, the government revoked his passport and he couldn't even leave Kenya.
That's all I have for this witness, Your Honor. Calling witness Kenneth Allen. Referring the witness to what has been marked for identification as plaintiff's exhibit 2, as exhibit 3 in the record. Are you familiar with the document that I just handed to you?
I am.
What is it?
Well, it's from Immigration Naturalization Services, and it actually is about Barack Obama Sr., and it was notice of his F1 student immigration status.
And what is the date at the bottom of this document?
June 27, 1962.
There's a form number at the top of the document. Did you read that?
Yeah, it's 1-208, or 220D.
What's your understanding of the purpose for this document?
Well, this document actually helped him get into the University of Harvard.
What does it say about his status as a citizen of the United States?
Well, he's not a citizen of the United States. It says his status is he's from Africa.
How did you come to obtain this document?
Through a Freedom of Information Act that I filed on February of 2011.
And is this the copy? Is this copy an accurate copy of the document that you received from the Freedom of Information Act request?
It is.
And for the record, I'd like to read Georgia Code section 2414 matters judicially recognized, judicially recognized matters, and quoting, the laws of the United States and of the several states, customs of merchants, and all similar matters of public knowledge shall be judicially recognized without the introduction of proof. I read that to point out the fact that this document, under not only Georgia statute, is judicially recognized, but under Georgia precedent, should fall within the business records exception to hearsay objection. That's all I have for this witness, and that's the close of the evidence for Mr. Weldon.
Step down. Okay, counsel, you have 20 minutes.
Not the law.
And I believe that I can cover it in 20 minutes, Your Honor. As I stated before, our hope here is to help the court understand what our core argument is. What we're trying to show here is that Barack Obama, by the evidence, Barack Obama's father was not a United States citizen at the time of the defendant's birth. And under Article 2 of the United States Constitution, that means that he is not a natural-born citizen, as was defined by the Supreme Court in Minor v. Happersett. In Minor v. Happersett, the court recognized three categories of people: natural-born citizens, citizens, and everybody else. Now, the court also noted that all natural-born citizens are citizens, but not all citizens are natural-born citizens. There are three paths to citizenship in the United States, all of them founded within the Constitution. The first one is Article 2, natural-born citizen, as defined by Minor v. Happersett. The second one is naturalized citizens, which is defined by Congress as they are authorized to do under Article 1. And then there's the 14th Amendment. Now, it should be noted that all naturalized citizens that are naturalized under Congress's authority under Article 1 cannot be natural-born citizens, specifically because Congress does not have the authority to alter the Constitution other than through the amendment process. So therefore, all of the statutes and laws, whether or not they purport to define the term natural-born citizen, do not, because they cannot alter Article 1. Now, the 14th Amendment is a separate issue, but it also does not include natural-born citizens for reasons that I'll get to here in a moment. In order to get there, we first have to remind ourselves of the rules of construction that were set forth by the early Supreme Court in Marbury v. Madison, and have been followed ever since by every court. The rules of construction that are applicable here are, first, under Marbury v. Madison, Chief Justice Marshall stated that no clause in the Constitution can be construed in a way by any court that would leave it without independent meaning. Now, a corollary to this rule is any future amendments to the Constitution must not be construed in a way that removes independent meaning from another clause unless that amendment specifically states that it's changing the earlier clause, or there's no way to construe that amendment in any other way other than changing the earlier clause. So with that rule of construction in mind, we look at the fact that the minor court defined natural-born citizen, and that definition was, it was never doubted that all children born in a country of parents who were its citizens become themselves upon their birth citizens also. These were natives or natural-born citizens as distinguished from aliens or foreigners. So there's two elements to this definition. First, both parents have to be citizens at the time that the defendant was born, and the defendant had to have been born in the country. Now, a lot of people say that this is dicta, and that therefore the court doesn't have to follow it. It's persuasive, but it's simply dicta. That is absolutely incorrect, and we will prove that beyond any doubt